Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. This is Brad along with Doug.
Hi.
Doug's back today for a limited time only,
Yay.
possibly.
Essentially, yeah. I don't know. I'll be
Uh,
back. I'm sure I'll be back in a little bit.
Yay! But anyway,
Hmm.
so in his limited time, Doug decided, you know what? I love Trials.
Oh,
I'm
God.
going to get this awesome looking new Trials DLC that they announced
Uh,
at the Ubisoft press conference.
yeah, I actually bought this the day of. Let's talk about the announcement of it.
Yeah, okay, so that's true. The announcement of this was crazy. I feel like we already talked about the announcement, but maybe we
We, we,
haven't.
we did talk a little bit about the announcement, but it was basically like, blah, 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 blah. Blood Dragon 2 is now a Trials game. Buy it now. Which is a good way to sell.
Yeah!
Yeah. Which is a really good way to sell me on a Trials game. I liked it. I thought that was really cool. I thought it made sense for Blood Dragon. I actually never played I played a little bit of the original one. I didn't play like all the way through, but I was like, oh, okay,
Whoa,
this
whoa.
this makes sense.
You didn't play Blood Dragon?
I don't like Far Cry that much.
I hate Far Cry. Like absolutely like there I have not played a Far Cry game I enjoy and I loved Blood Dragon.
You know what this is? We talked about this on the side that I don't like Kung Fury, and I don't like
Oh
Kung Fury
god,
for.
yes.
Oh man, if you like that sort of if you like Kung Fury, you'll definitely like this game. Um, no, so yeah, I bought it day one. I had some money. I actually had saved some money in my account. Like load up $50 in my PlayStation account because I knew there's gonna be some games announced. This is the perfect game to get, and this game is not. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's definitely disappointing. It's very, very disappointing.
So it's not just more trials.
I I wish it was just more trials because the parts that are not trials are not good at all. So basically, what this is actually not just DLC. I think the DLC was actually part of Trials Fusion. Like you'd actually go in the Trials Fusion, you pick your DLC. This is actually a whole separate game. It's a standalone game.
Oh.
Still runs on trial. It is Trials. It's still Trials Fusion. It runs on Trials Fusion stuff. But they've added some new wrinkles, some very bad wrinkles. So so shooting one of my major complaints of the last DLC, the one with the cat and the unicorn. I can't. I think it's called what the heck is that
Trials
called?
Awesome Level Max Pack or something like that.
Yeah. My problem with that one is actually one of my minor complaints that is like your cat has a gun and you don't get to shoot it. So now you actually do get to shoot a gun while you're riding on your trials bike.
So what you're telling me is the guys at Red Links listen to our podcast slash
They
YouTube
do
videos.
clearly. Well, if your character has a gun and they don't shoot it, you're probably gonna have a few complaints. And actually, that's not too bad. There are parts where you get to shoot your gun on your bike, and it's kind of fun. It's just like a weird unnecessary wrinkle. That's not the bad wrinkle. The bad wrinkle is they decided to put on foot missions on here.
Because no, that's
And
what I want in Trials.
yeah, well, the thing is, like on foot missions in a trials game isn't inherently a bad idea. On foot missions that run and play sort of like it's basically like they try to shoehorn a platformer into the Trials Fusion engine, and it just doesn't work. It plays like a lot of people complain about Little Big Planet being floaty.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This is way worse. This is way worse. like like I didn't have a problem with Little Big Planet. Like I was it's like to jump is R2.
Yeah.
Like it has very similar controls to the actual like bike. Um and it's just really really sloppy, and the levels themselves, even like the normal bike levels, aren't very good. The 80s aesthetic is maybe it's very derivative. It feels like a lot of other ones. Like you've seen that sort of like, haha, this thing's crappy, but it's not really, but it is.
Yeah.
uh and it plays off that, and it's like it's one of those things that to me just doesn't hit. Like I feel like it takes a lot of work to make something pretend to be crappy but be really funny and really good.
Yep.
um if you're trying to be purposely crappy and it doesn't work, it's just kind of crappy. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what this is. There's some neat stuff in it though. I like the interface is pretty cool. It's like you're in some sort of like 80, like it's like you're like in a 80s high schooler's room, and that's
Oh,
like your main menu, and like the worlds are like posters they put on their wall.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So there's like, and so, like a lot of levels are parodies of things. There's this is kind of spoilery, but I think it's the only way that people are interested in the game is knowing that there's these sort of levels in it. There's a Raiders of the Lost Ark level. There is a Starship Troopers slash Halo level. They do like sort of like a Lost in Space level. And actually, I will say, as much as I did not like this DLC for pretty much the platforming section were very good. It's just not a very. There's better Trials DLC than this. The one level that is really cool is they actually worked with the Hotline Miami guys to do a Hotline Miami world.
Like in the same aesthetic and all that kind of stuff, or does this
Yeah,
look like
yeah, yeah,
Trials?
yeah.
Like,
It's Trials. I mean, it's not. It's Trials meets Blood Dragon meets Hotline Miami, but it's not just like, oh hey, it's kind of Hotline Miami. No, it actually like it legit is Hotline Miami. Like all the guys wear all the enemies wear like the white suits. You have a gun. They do some like tribute. They take some of the music from Hotline Miami. Like it's a semi official like tie-in with Hotline Miami.
that's pretty
Um,
awesome.
and it is really cool. And it was like really surprising when I played it. Like they wear like the animal heads and stuff. Um, but that is actually the shortest world, and it's only 3 levels. um, so I was like, "Whoa, Hotline Miami! This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool." And then I went back to just being whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
if you're like even if you're a hardcore Trials fan, you've been buying all the DLC. This is the worst DLC like they've released thus far. It's like I had problems with the last one. My main issue with the last one was like the the cat and unicorn part was not very good. Um, and this is just that but worse.
So, are
Um,
there any just traditional Trials levels in this, or is it all this weird stuff?
I mean, there's a few, but I'd say they're in the minority.
Okay.
Um, I wouldn't say the minority. I'd say maybe probably 50% of the levels are just like traditional trials levels. But a lot of times, like a platforming level won't just be a platform. It'll be like platforming for a bit, and then you do the bike, and then you do the platforming, and you do the bike. You actually play as two separate characters in the game.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, if you're used to playing like a lot of trials, like you have your favorite bike, whatever the highest level bike is. I think a lot of people play with that one. I forgot what it's called.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, but whatever like the final bike you get. But this one, it's like you play with like the basic level bikes the entire time. So
Oh.
like so it's like it's kind of like playing like easy medium levels of it.
Oh.
Yeah, it feels really weird too. And they try to do like all these like fun, exciting things, but they're clearly just kind of like pushing the engine to the limit and trying to do things on the engine it really shouldn't be doing. So it kind of comes across honestly, Little Big Planet is probably the best way to put it. Like user created Little Big Planet levels, where it's like this is probably better done in a different game.
Ew.
Like they have a grapple hook, and the grapple hook just makes it needlessly complex. Like you kind of shoot out, and then you sort of like adjust yourself to do it, but like it's just another layer on top of it already that's just not necessary. They
Yeah.
added like the platforming levels that have like puzzles. I'm gonna put in quotes because they're not really puzzles. They're just like really crappy. If they were in like a normal 2D platformer, it would just be a bad 2D platformer. Like it's not good level design. It's really disappointing. that's that's the best way I could put
I
it.
just, as you're talking about this, I don't understand because I mean I was a pretty big Trials fan and I had no issue
Yeah,
with Fusion and I haven't got any of these DLCs mostly because you have and you've told me all this crap about them. I don't understand why don't you just do an Indiana Jones Trials world where you're driving the bike away from the boulder and then you're driving the bike and jumping onto an airplane and then why don't you just do that? Why do you need to get all this needless platforming in there? Like it just doesn't seem like there's a reason for this. And as somebody
yeah.
who was a big fan of Trials and just has avoided the DLCs, like I don't want that. That's not what I would want if I wanted
I
more
don't know why
Trials.
you've avoided the DLCs. Like, why? Like the DLCs are great. They're all trials levels. There's no like weird bike. There's no weird anything in them. There's
Because you
classic
keep
trials.
complaining about them.
No, I said the DLCs were great. I just said the awesome level max stuff sucked. Like the season pass stuff.
Oh,
The
gotcha.
season
Okay.
pass stuff is amazing. Oh my god, that shit is great. That stuff is
Oh,
so good.
then yeah, I
I
don't know
but
why I've been avoiding it.
Yeah, no, you should definitely get those. Yeah, I would say the two most high profile ones though are the worst, which is really weird. Like the awesome level max and now this Blood Dragon 2, I'll call it Blood Dragon 2, are the worst ones. Because they try to do stuff. They try to do some fun and creative stuff on their current engine, and their current engine is just not built to do those things.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just weird. Yeah, it is weird because I always feel like it's kind of I'm the sort of person that I always like innovation in games. Like I'd rather have play something new than play something old. Like the things I really liked about Uncharted 4 were the things that weren't like the old Uncharted. Like those are
Yep.
my favorite sections of it. Um, and this one, like when it tries to do these innovative things, it just they don't the game that it's not good for Trials Fusion. It would be good for Trials 3 or something like that. Like, hey, we're just gonna build this thing from the ground up again.
Yeah, and we're gonna
Um,
introduce these aspects in a way that actually fully utilizes them instead of just
yeah.
half-assing it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're actually like design our engine around these new mechanics and try to like be the reverse way. So like I said, it just kind of feels like Little Big Planet levels, and And I guess if you kind of like that 80s stuff, like maybe that'll carry you through because there's sometimes some funny jokes and it is it's very Blood Dragon-y from what I had played of Blood Dragon. Kind of like dumb 80s humor sort of thing. But yeah, can't recommend it. Didn't like it. Can't recommend all the season pass. If you can find the season pass for cheap, and I think there's a version on like the Awesome Level Max Super Edition that has all the season pass DLC.
Yeah.
That's absolutely worth it. You should get that. That's pretty much it. I think I'm mostly disappointed with it because I was so excited for it and just turned out to not be very good.
Yeah, that's always just that always hurts a little bit.
Yeah, soundtrack's super cool though. I will say that soundtrack's really good.
Yeah, that's not surprising. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Workforce Gaming. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, any of those other things that are out there. And we will see you later.
Bye.